Hello guys, welcome to our next tutorial. In this video, we will cover how to use map in React. Okay. So basically, an map is it's just a JavaScript function introduced in ES6 plus. It's similar to what a for loop does, but you should learn it and use map instead of for loop, and it is widely used in React applications. So let's just see how does it work. Okay, let's create an example for map test.js, and let's create a component using our extension, and let's just keep it as it is for now, and let's just render this component in our app component, and let's see if it is rendering in our output. Yes, we do have map test over here. Let's refresh it. We see map test component over here. Now what we have to do is we can use map function over here. Before that, we need an array or list, whatever you want to call it. We can say fruits, maybe. It's a very basic example. We will slightly increase the difficulty level. Let's just go with this basic list first. So make sure you are using these brackets instead of the curly brackets. This represents that we are using an array, or you can call it a list. The curly brackets means that we are using an object. So we do not want object. Map does not work on object. Map only works on list or array, whatever. This list and array means the same thing. So how are we going to? We are just going to print apple, mango, and orange. And for example, in this UL, instead of doing li apple and li mango, instead of doing this, I just want to return whatever is in this fruits. So how are we going to do it? We will first start with curly brackets. So now, because we are going to use JavaScript over here, now we can do fruits dot map. And now since it's a for loop, it will iterate over these elements one by one. It will go over these elements, iterate over them. So, and we want to name the variable. So for example, I can call it fruit. This is the syntax of how you write a map. So it becomes messy because it has its own curly brackets, round bracket, and then there is this curly brackets, which is which you have to use if you are working with if you want to embed JavaScript inside this JSX. So now this is our own variable name. You can call it root name or whatever you want. And now here you will have to write return. Now whatever you want to return it. Now it's again JSX. Okay. Now it has to be a component and it will follow all the rules of the component. Then it has to return only one item. Okay. Now let's just say I can say ASDF for now. Okay. So it is auto formatted. Just don't get confused what happened over here when I saved it. So you see these brackets came into one line. Now let's see what's printed over here. You can see it's printed 3 times because we have 3 items in our array and it is looping over them and it is printing ASDF 3 times. But we do not want to print ASDF 3 times. We want to make it dynamic. We want to use this fruit name. Now again I am going to open this curly brackets. So this is kind of a khichdi or it might be confusing, but you know that you have to use curly brackets inside JSX when you want to use a variable, and our variable name is fruit name, which is coming from here. Now we save it and see on the browser. Now you see the list, it's printed fine. Okay. That is how you print it. Okay. Now a few common mistakes that people make with using map is that they will forget to write return over here. Okay. They will say, okay, I have written this, but still the output is not returning. What's wrong? What mistake did I make? The mistake is that they did not write return. Okay. You have to write return. That's a very common mistake that people make. Other than the second common mistake that people make, they leave the empty line after return. Okay, if you leave the empty line, it will not work again. Okay, because this is return. So now let's come back. And the last thing that I would like to mention is this warning that you see in this console. If I refresh it, it's still there. It's not an error, it's a warning. It's saying, you can see it's a warning. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop. It React basically complains that each child should have a unique key prop. So what does that mean is we need to pass it a special attribute called key, and we have to make it unique so that each item is differentiable. So that is something specific to React. That's something that React demands. That's basically it will help React to in its diffing algorithm when it will compare if it wants to update the UI or not, if that element is changed. If you don't pass key, then the performance is not great. If one element changes, React has to change all of them. But if you have key defined here, React will be able to differentiate, okay, no, okay, this element needs updation and this element does not. And it has to be unique. It does not have, does should not be the uh, it should not be that thing 1 2 3. So we can even just make it the same as the fruit name for now. So if I refresh it now, you don't see warning anymore. And if I inspect it, you can see that a key is key. It's not showing key over here. So basically, it's under the hood. React is using this key for its own to track these elements. Okay. Now one more thing is there is a second argument called index, and what it does is you can say you can use it like root number index, and you can write it like this. So you see fruit number 0, fruit number 1, and fruit number 2. So index is basically the index. You can call it anything, int, index number, whatever you want to call it, my index. So it's basically tells us the number of index of this. Okay. So this is the other variable, but now you may think that I will be changing this to name to index. That is not recommended to use this index as a key as well, because these values may change the order. So it is recommended by React that you use the string variable and not the which is not the you can which is not in the index, not a string exactly. It can be a number, but it should not be the index of these values. Okay. So now we have this root name as key, and you can see we have this root as well. Now let's try another example. It can be an array of object as well. So we can create we can call it map test2.js, and simply we can take this similarly. I guess I can copy this. No, let's just take this array. Otherwise, it will take a lot of work to alter the code. So not willing to do that. So let's add this UL again. Now we save it, and it's basically the same thing. Now that the changes that I want to make is I want to make it an array of objects. So this will be let's say its ID is 1 and its name is Apple, and now its ID is 2 and its name is Mango. I hope you know why it is. I'm calling it an object because it has curly brackets. You know it's an object. And lastly, yeah, it's a key value pair. So that also shows that it's a JavaScript object. And this has 3 elements. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, index will be starting from 0, 1, 2. And now here, fruit name, I cannot call it fruit name. I can only call it fruit. And key will be fruit dot ID, because this is unique for every object. I can make it to that, and now I there is no fruit name. Then I can use fruit.id, that will be better, and I can call it fruit.name, that will be better, because now I am using dot notation, or you can use the uh, basically object notation as well. So, but yeah, let's just go with the dot notation. So now let's just render this component in our app component. We can render it below map test. We can render map test 2, and let's just see. So it's automatically imported. Make sure that it is imported on your end as well. This is the map test and this is map test 2. It says food number 1, food number 2, food number 3. Okay. So we can call it um, loop over array of strings, and similarly here we can call it loop over array of objects. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess that is about it, about map that I had that I wanted to share. Okay, also note that there are these you can also add these optional round brackets, and you can write whole bunch of other JSX elements. You can add more elements over here if you want. Okay, more JSX if you want, but this key should be at the first item, the parent item. Which can there can be only one parent item. You cannot say there is li and then there is div. So it will again complain. There cannot be adjacent elements. Can JSX exception must have one parent element. Okay, there cannot be two parent elements. So and the key should be on the parent element. Now you can add as many elements as you want. For example, this is span. You can add this span and you can add this over here. And in other span element, you can add this. Now again, you see their span are like comes in the same line. So they are over here. So yeah, similarly, you can see now they are span. You can use multiple elements as well. And the key should be defined over here. If you remove it, you can see it will start complaining. You see there is this in map test 2, there is this error. And if I undo and key is there, so it will, and I reload, the error is gone. So yeah, that's about it about map. So let me just go through it quickly. Mapping over a list of items. Yes, you need to use a key, otherwise it will complain. It will show you a warning, not an error. Should be within brackets. Yes, we saw that you have to start with brackets. This bracket, don't forget that. And then we have must use return, and same common problem with return. Must not start in next line, at least put brackets. JSX within JSX. We saw that you can write any elements that you want. Okay, and you can write again brackets again. So this may look messy, but that's you should be now clear how this works. Okay, I guess that was it. So that's the end of the video. Don't forget to join our Discord community. Link is in the description, and don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends about this PX series. See you in the next video.